Hi, I'm Darla. I'm a sleep physician, and if you insomnia, this channel is for you. Today, we have 3 tips for Darla who struggles to stay awake until her bedtime. And those are light therapy and successively delaying her sleep phase but starting early, as well as a planned nap. Super nice having you back here, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to you. Today, as mentioned, we have a question from Darla that I will try to answer as best as I can. Before we get to it, as always, nothing here is medical advice, but just general thoughts and advice that I hope will be helpful to you. If I don't have my typical level of energy today, it is because I was expecting actually to be off this whole week, and then there was this big snow dump yesterday, so in no school. I've been like trying to keep the kids busy a whole day. But anyway, let's get to this. Got an email from Darla 2 days ago, which reads, I've suffered from insomnia most of my life. I'm 49 years old. When I was married, I struggled with sleep due to a snoring partner. However, now that I'm single, I continue to struggle. I don't really have racing thoughts or anxiety per se, but I seem to be hyper alert when trying to sleep. Only then I start to have racing thoughts, but the thoughts are mundane in nature. Sleep hygiene, supplements, essential oils, white noise, and gadgets all have proven to be ineffective. Something we hear so much about here. People trying various things that none that seem to work. And if you have seen a couple of videos, you know why, because none of that can actually produce sleep. And now, Darla in one paragraph kind of describes her sleep pattern. And by the way, I was very impressed when I was reading this. It was like, Darla, you completely understood everything. She goes over like her sleep times, her thoughts about why things are not really working well, and she goes over her sleep efficiency, etc. I can clearly understand she understands everything. So basically, what it boils down to is that she describes that she's working, and then she gets home from work, and between the time she gets home from work until her target bedtime, which is 10:30 p.m., she struggles to stay awake. There's microsleep. I think there may also have been some longer stretches of sleep that she was actually aware of. So her question to me is, any suggestions to help me stay awake until my specified bedtime? And there were, as I was reading this, there were 3 things that came to mind. And by the way, Darla, this is a very common problem. One of my earliest videos, I can't remember which one it was now, but I think it's like in the teens or maybe early 20s, maybe like 25 or something like that. It's called "Is Your Couch Killing Your Sleep?" Because I see this so much. As somebody comes home, typically it's like somebody comes home from a pretty long day at work. They're tired. It's now 5 or 6 p.m. They sit down to relax. Can't help it. They fall asleep. Or they kind of sit and watch TV or do something like that, and then doze off a little bit here and there, and you can get those micro sleeps. Both the nap or micro sleep can have a big impact on how you sleep later on. So that is definitely a problem. Now, how can you address that? Well, number 1, and this is one of those a little bit of an easy fix, and typically, as we see often on this channel here, easy fixes do not work, but I think it may be worth trying in this case. And that is a phototherapy device, also known as a sunlight or a happy light. And the standard recommendation is that it should be 10,000 lux or more. That's kind of the light intensity you need. But you can try to use that not only if you have this seasonal depression, or if you're trying to reset your circadian rhythm, but you can use it just to feel more energized. You get home, you're tired, you feel a little bit sleepy, you expose yourself to this really bright light that can give you some kind of a boost of energy. One tip. The second tip is to kind of start off by going to bed early. Start off by going to bed 7 p.m. and then waking up at, let's say, 6 hours later. Let's say, what will that be? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it's a 1 a.m. Yeah, so 7 p.m. until 1 a.m. You sleep that first night, and then the second night you go 7:30 to 1:30 a.m. Then you go 8 to 2, 8:30 to 2:30, etc. until you reach 10. And that's a pretty painful way of moving your bedtime later, but I believe it could work. It's painful because you have to get up so early, but I think that could work. Now the third one, and maybe this is the best one, I don't know, really up to anyone who hears this to choose, but the third one is to take a scheduled nap, like pretty much as early as possible. So let's say you get home from work at 5:30, then you try to take a 15 or 20 minutes planned nap at that time that will keep you awake till 10, and then hopefully once you start sleeping more like 10 to, I think, 10:30 to 4:30 or something like that, which Darla in this case was, that's her sleep window, that's what she's aiming to do. Once that kicks in, you can you may be able to sleep longer or adjust your sleep pattern in another way. So I hope these little kind of micro sleep suggestions were helpful. Darla, let us know how things go, and if this is not working, let me know that as well, of course, and we can think of other strategies. As always, if you have any questions, you, Darla, or anybody else, of course, do send me an email at daniel@insomniainsight.co. And as I've started saying lately, anybody who is interested in talking to me on a podcast, that is super helpful as well. And that's it. Hope to have you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.